Tim Maria here with Digital Health Live CES 2015. We are in the conference studio. There's actually 800 people on the other side of the wall here. Massive event this year. I really appreciate having Rick Valencia from Qualcomm back on our stage. You've been a part of our family for a long time.
Yeah, we have. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, San Diego. That was a fun event. I remember 2 years ago.
2 years ago, that was a fun event.
And then coming in from Switzerland, from Basel, Corinne Savill from Novartis Pharma. How are you?
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me here.
So have you been to CES before?
No, I've never been to Las Vegas before, let alone CES.
So what's
Days, right? That's dangerous.
What's your first impression of this event and the scale of it?
It's massive. I mean, I thought I'd been to some big conferences before, so the US Biotech Organization, BIO, which has a very big event, but this dwarfs that. It's really big. Yeah.
So we've just had a great panel and some of the most interesting people in the world. We just had MC10 on the studio here earlier. The topic was drug war. Pharma rises beyond the pill. What does that mean, and what was the topic today?
Well, our topic was around, I guess it was the same topic, wasn't it? There were just two different groups.
Yeah. So we have the second piece. Pharma gets techie in everyone's scores.
But it was still the same general.
Yeah.
Pharma goes beyond the pill, which is basically marrying drug development and digital technologies, and also ultimately drug delivery. So Qualcomm Life, of course, is in the business of helping to enable patient-generated biometrics or patient biometrics from the home back to our customers, whether they're providers, whether they're device manufacturers, whether they're pharmaceutical companies. And what that does is it enriches their business models, especially as we move from the world of fee-for-service into paying for value and having to prove outcomes.
Yeah, giving some data back. Okay. What were some of the hot points of the topic that you guys were discussing, and what is your relationship?
Okay. So I take the hot points. Rick can take the relationship. So I think what we were talking about a lot was what this going beyond the pill means. So what do we actually mean when we say that? And for Novartis, what this means is that what we want to do is develop therapies which really improve the lives and the outcomes for patients. And so what we want to be able to demonstrate is that we treat the right patients with the right drugs at the right time, and that we, for those patients, really improve their quality of life and their health and help them deal with their disease. And in order to be able to do that, we need to be able to measure how well our drugs are working in real life. And this is what these types of technologies can help us do.
What's your background so everybody learns a little bit more about you?
I'm originally an immunologist. I'm a scientist. I have a PhD. I spent many years working in a lab, working in academic research, and then working in research for the pharmaceutical companies. And now I actually work in business development. So I work on creating alliances between Novartis, which is a relatively big company, and small companies around the world that have new technologies, new drugs that we can work with them to develop and bring to patients.
Okay. Rick,
you asked, by the way, the nature of the relationship. I'll share that real quickly with you. We just actually made an announcement coming in to the conference here that we've been selected as the platform for their Trials of the Future, our 2Net platform. So while they're building out the next generation, going beyond the pill, we're going to be the digital piece of that. We're going to be the digital technology behind that.
It's really interesting how Silicon's meeting drug technology and real-time data through our mobile devices and the cloud.
About getting that patient data, and across industry, that's the key thing, is getting the data from the patient and then delivering solutions that matter to them.
So will I get a prescription for an app plus a drug and a device in the future? What does this all look like?
I mean, who knows in the eventual future what it's going to look like. But at the moment, yes, you will get a prescription for a drug, and along with that may come the recommendation to actually use a particular app. and to download that onto your smartphone or onto your tablet, and through that you'll be able to, input and record data. That data, actually Rick reminds me on stage, won't come back from you as an individual to a company like Novartis, because that would be breaking all sorts of rules of confidentiality. You may agree to allow it to go directly to your physician, and you would also may agree that a company like Novartis could collect your data with thousands of other patients' data in order to be able to study it, study how well the drug is working on you, and then bring forward improved therapies for patients.
There's all different forms of it, from very simple forms of you get prescribed an app, but along with that comes a digital interface, if you will, with a coach on the other end. Okay, so let's think of a very high value drug that you absolutely have to be compliant on for it to work. Yeah. For an insurance company or a government to be willing to pay for that, they're going to want to know that patient is compliant, right? So the prescription now comes with not just the drug, but with this connection that you have to have with a coach that is going to want to know if you're being compliant. If not, they're going to get on the phone and call you. So that's kind of level one, but it goes from there to some of the drugs are going to have technology embedded in them. So even a pill like Proteus, you can think of an injector or an inhaler having digital technology that's registering how much of a drug was taken, when it was taken. Exactly. Was it done correctly? Was it being held the right way when it was being delivered?
Yeah. I heard there's $1 billion lost a year to some people not taking their medicine or more.
A lot more than that. Yeah. I believe the number is close to $500 billion that's lost revenue to pharma for people not taking their drugs, but the impact of that on the system is something like $300 billion additionally, because they end up getting sick for not taking the drugs.
How does this change the game, like say 5 years out from now? How much more efficient or better of a treatment is this combination of leveraging technology plus the efficacy of the drugs?
Okay. Well, what we know now is that many of the drugs that patients take actually only work on a relatively small percentage of the patients who take them. That's because many diseases are very complicated and aren't in fact one disease. There are many different diseases, and as we get better at actually measuring over a longer period how well our drugs work, and better at collecting data from patients, so to be able to identify which kind of spectrum of the disease they have, then we should get much better at being able to identify the right patient for our particular drug. And so the benefit of that to patients will be huge, and that they won't be taking a drug that doesn't work, and payers won't be paying for drugs that don't work.
And you guys will be able to take data across, like, say me, I just had a birthday, so as soon as I turn 44, my body feels like it's deteriorating a little bit more, especially after. So then you can look across populations. And what else really excites you about this space?
Well, I mean, this whole transformation to me is exciting. If you think about it, healthcare and probably education are the last two bastions of avoiding this type of technology, digitization. Any other industry that's digitized themselves has created data and used that data to analyze their own business and to deliver better results. And in this world, what I think is great is it's almost like a perfect. It's a problem, but the solution benefits everybody. So the problem is that people aren't adherent to the medications. That's one of the big problems. When they're not adherent, they end up getting sicker, and also when they're not adherent, they're not buying the drugs that they should be buying, right? So if we fix the problem, it's good for everybody, because pharma makes more money, the hospitals cut costs because people aren't as sick, and people stay well. So to me, this is, it's a win-win-win problem.
It's more exponential too, because then you have your data that's combined with everybody else's data that's masked, and then that can help. There's people from all over the world here. What types of connections are you trying to gain and connect with here at CES?
Novartis, we're actually based in Switzerland, but we have a big research site in Cambridge, in Massachusetts, also in Switzerland and in Shanghai. So we're a truly global company. A lot of the digital innovation at the moment is coming from the US, and a lot of it's actually on the West Coast. So that's one of the connections we increasingly are making and need to make more in the future. But we need to connect with innovators around the globe, because you didn't ask me what excited me. It sounds like a bit of a double.
What excites you?
and now I'm going to give you what sounds like a dumb answer. I think it's what we don't know. Because
you see stuff here and you're like, down the hallway you'll see like some guy cruising on a new kind of scooter or just amazing stuff. You're like, I didn't even know that was here yet.
But I think it's what I was getting to is more of a connection, because like you were saying, it's, the pharmaceutical industry and drugs and medicine and health is still not really one of the digitized industries, and it's almost like two separate worlds. And I think as we begin to bring those two worlds together, then we'll find ideas and we'll find ways of doing things that actually at the moment we can't even conceive. And I think that's what's going to be really interesting to see.
All right. I like your answer. That was good. So what are you guys looking outside of just meeting the folks here at CES?
Well, we're always excited to come learn what's going on, what's new. We have our own venture fund, the Qualcomm Life Fund, and we've been actually the most prolific investor in digital health the last 2 years running, and we'll continue to do that. In fact, we're going to be doubling down the coming year in digital health investments. So that's a big area of focus for us. We're here looking around, seeing what sort of opportunities exist.
So how do people connect up with you, Corinne?
Well, to get in touch with me personally, then I'm on LinkedIn, so that's a way to get in touch with me. And to get to find out more about Novartis, then there's Novartis.com and NovartisPharma.com that people can actually look at on the web.
Yeah, we have our own website at Qualcomm Life, so it's qualcommlife.com, and I'm on Twitter at Bootstrapped.
Bootstrapped. All right. Well, thanks for being on the show. It's always good to see you, and welcome to the family.
Thank you.
And thanks, Jill and WebMD, for making this all happen.
All right. Thanks, WebMD.
Thank you.